Now let's get to this. The outrage is growing now. Some on the political left are digging in or even doubling down on their dangerous rhetoric after a third attempt on President Trump's life. Political violence is becoming more normalized now. And the White House flat out says Democrats are fueling a cult of hatred, arguing years of extreme language now causing real-world violence. Here's Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
When you have mentally disturbed individuals across the country who are listening to this crazed rhetoric about the president day after day after day, it inspires them to do crazy things. The entire Democrat Party has made their pitch to voters across the country that Donald Trump poses an existential threat to democracy, that he is a fascist, and that they compare him to Hitler. I mean, these are despicable statements that the American people have been consuming for years. I have a whole host of examples that we can share with you after. It is pages and pages of major Democrat Party elected officials.
You heard her say it, a whole host of examples. Well, we have the receipts too, firsthand.
We are in an era of maximum warfare, everywhere, all the time. And we're going to keep the pressure on Republicans in every single state in the union to ensure at the end of the day that there is a fair national map.
Every day, Donald Trump is making this nation look more and more like a fascist state.
The president wants these confrontations so that he can call out the military in other cities in America as part of his would-be dictator playbook.
Never before in my life have I called for mass protests, for mobilization, for disruption. But I am now. These Republicans cannot know a moment of peace.
So you see what the reality is, right? Hakeem Jeffries here.
As it relates to the comment related to maximum warfare everywhere, all the time, in connection with the redistricting battle that Republicans launched. I stand by it. You can continue to criticize me for it. I don't give a damn about your criticism. This so-called White House press secretary, who's a disgrace, he's a stone-cold liar, had the nerve to stand up there and read talking points being critical of statements all taken out of context that Democrats have made, and didn't have a word to say about anything that MAGA extremists have said or done.
So he doubled down. Maximum warfare. Hakeem Jeffries, the most powerful Democrat in the House. Liberal late-night host Jimmy Kimmel mixed it up with the White House. He's trying to defend a so-called joke he made before the shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. He said the First Lady looked like an expectant widow. A New York Post with some of its classic wordplay. Kimwit strikes again. Senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy from the North Lawn. Good to see you, Peter.
Good to see you too, Harris. And Jimmy Kimmel thinks he was being funny, so he's not going to say sorry.
It was a pretend roast. I said, our First Lady Melania is here. Look at her, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow, which obviously was a joke about their age difference and the look of joy we see on her face every time they're together. I agree that hateful and violent rhetoric is something we should reject. I do, and I think a great place to start to dial that back would be to have a conversation with your husband about it.
And because we have the tape, everybody watching can judge for themselves whether or not Jimmy Kimmel here was making that kind of a joke.
Our First Lady Melania is here. Look at Melania, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow.
Well, Kimmel's defiance late night to the First Lady follows her comment that enough is enough. It's time for ABC to take a stand. How many times will ABC's leadership enable Kimmel's atrocious behavior at the expense of our community? Even David Axelrod, the famed Democratic strategist, writes, I like Jimmy Kimmel. He's funny and courageous at a time when there's been too much cowardice. That said, this was a tasteless joke. The White House will use any issue to demand he be fired because his satire touches a nerve, and ABC is right to resist, but he'd be right to apologize. Kimmel, though, does have some A-list backers here.
Jimmy's a comedian, and I would argue that Caroline Leavitt didn't mean shots should be fired, right? She was making a joke. Fair enough. So I look at that side and go, well, jokes are jokes, but the rhetoric, I think, is a little dangerous, and we've seen it a lot lately.
And when you talk to President Trump about this, he believes that all these attempts on his life are because he is such an impactful global figure, but he and his team are also arguing that a lot of this rhetoric is directed at them and not the other way around. Harris.
Well, look, we have a lot of tape that shows that. Peter Doocy, thank you. In Focus now, podcast host and star, Ben Ferguson. Good to see you today.
Good to see you.
Boy, this is just such a dichotomy to see a president in what one of our British guests described, and she's a biographer, as the best speech she'd ever seen him give. It was warm and funny, so on and so forth. And then we go to the rhetoric that literally has the potential to get him killed.
Yeah, I think we just need to stop sugarcoating it. I think the Democratic Party is clear. They have a game plan. They want Donald Trump dead. They're not going to stop. They want to incite and light the fuse and give the gasoline to the crazy people in the world that they're trying to recruit. If you don't believe me, look at the data. 25% of Democrats now believe in this country that political violence is justifiable if someone you don't like is elected. You look at where that all grew. It grew in our college campuses. The left control our college campuses, and they keep putting it out there. When Jimmy Kimmel goes out there and says what he says, knowing that Donald Trump has already been shot, let's not forget, it's not just attempts. He's actually been shot. Yes. And then tries to act like it's a joke. It's not a joke. There are people out there that listen to what you say, and it encourages them to go kill the President of the United States of America. When Democrats go out there and double down like Hakeem Jeffries, he knows what he's doing. He is speaking the same way that they radicalize lone wolves from al-Qaeda and ISIS. They are saying, if you hate this man, go do the dirty work for us.
You know, before he doubled down, there might have been some room for argument that he didn't mean war the way he meant it. He didn't mean what he said. Now he says he means it, and he blank won't take it back.
Yeah, they believe them when they tell you they want to kill the president. Believe them.
They're telling us, they're showing us, and we're seeing the receipts of, yeah. I mean, and what's been said about the suspected assassin is that he wasn't cultivated online solely. I mean, that this is cooking up out there among society. There could be more like him.
Look at the last couple of people that have done political violence. They're college educated, at higher level college education, like where you dream that your kids will go. This is not somebody that went after Ronald Reagan, for example. That was a different scenario. That's someone that clearly dealt with mental health issues. These individuals believe that they are justified in offing anyone they don't like politically. You look at the manifesto. I could read you quotes from that manifesto and ask you to guess, is this a member of Congress or the guy that tried to kill the president? You couldn't tell the difference.
Real quickly, former President Obama is poo-pooing this. I mean, he's
saying we don't even know a motive. He said, he literally, and this is the pathological lying of the leadership of the Democratic Party. Barack Obama came out and said, we don't know the motive. We know the motive. Read the words of the manifesto. You know that this individual had a reason to kill Donald Trump. You know why he wanted to kill Donald Trump. And by the way, not just Donald Trump. This is expanded. It's now the vice president. It's now the cabinet. It's now political conservative leaders. It's Charlie Kirk. This is not just on Donald Trump. This is any conservative out there that you don't like.
Yeah, and he was loaded with weapons.
Yeah.
So who walks around like that, gets into a hotel, you've got that in your luggage. You can't tell their motive. Now, we may not know everything about this man, but intent to kill, I don't think that's a doubt, but the courts will work it out. Ben Ferguson, always good to have you. Thank you. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.